Thank you for listening to Life Improvement Radio. You are listening to a rebroadcast of a previously recorded show.
So I'm excited to welcome to the program author Lawrence Levy. Lawrence, thanks for calling. How are you?
Hi, Neil. Pleasure to talk to you.
Now, I was going to ask you some background because my other co-hosts who are panelists have no info on you at this point. So we're going to have a lot of fun. And being in the dark, it's our mystery guest. So, Lawrence, tell us a little bit about your background.
Great, I get to fill you in. I spent most of my career as a TV writer. I wrote for Seinfeld, Roseanne, Seventh Heaven, Facts of Life, Saved by the Bell, and you name it, I wrote it. I won the Writers Guild Award for Seinfeld and was nominated for 2 Emmys. And I got this idea about historical fiction mystery a few years ago, and I just couldn't get it out of my head, and I decided to write it as my first novel. And lo and behold, I sold it to Random House in a 2-book deal, and now we're up to 4. It's a mystery series about a real woman, Mary Handley, who in the late 19th century was hired by the Brooklyn Police Department to sleuth a high-profile murder when there were no policewomen back then. So it's been fun. I love writing them. I wrote at Second Street Station, then Brooklyn on Fire. And actually, I'm just finishing my 3rd one right now. But Second Street Station and Brooklyn on Fire are out now. The Second Street Station last year and Brooklyn on Fire this year.
Well, I know my panelists will have a lot of questions, but I wanted to say one thing. I interviewed Peter Engel for his new book out 2 weeks ago, and he was just a joy to talk to, Peter.
Yeah, he's a fun guy.
Fantastic. Oh, my gosh. I wish I could talk to you more than 8 minutes for sure because of your background and your experience writing all these shows. Holy cow. And I know they have a lot of
Larry David read my books, and he wrote some really nice, fun things on the book cover, and so did Matt Weiner from Mad Men. So I have their endorsements and a lot of other book literary people and reviews. The first word in Second Street Station was named one of the best mysteries of 2015 by Library Journal. And Brooklyn on Fire was called a must-read by the New York Post. So, I've gotten some good press, which is nice.
Absolutely. Gotcha. Go ahead, Peter, with your question.
Yeah, so like everybody, there are great times and there are hard times. And obviously through your numerous experience, you've had both. But what is like the one thing that drives you so that when you hit those hard times, you keep on going, and then when you have those great times, it makes the moment completely unbelievable?
Well, you know what it gets down to? I love what I do. And if you hit a hard time, it almost makes me concentrate more on my writing and produce more. And I'm able to get lost in that and forget about what might be going on around me in my personal life.
Gotcha. All right.
I don't know if that helps, but that's what I do.
That's totally understandable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Lawrence,
so go ahead.
No, Lawrence, I was going to say you had quite a lot of success. I mean, you've written for many, successful TV shows, and you've written several novels yourself. What do you enjoy writing more? Do you enjoy the TV or doing your own novels? What's your favorite piece?
Well, it's interesting. I'd like to say both, and that's true. But there's something about writing a novel where you don't have to deal with networks and production companies and showrunners, that it's more your own creative product as opposed to a group product. And you get to... in a novel, you get to say what the character is feeling and doing as opposed to depending on actors and directors. Now, actors and directors sometimes improve your work, but sometimes they make it less than you had expected. So it's nice to have exactly what you wanted down on paper.
Gotcha.
And that's so true in so many ways, but I think it's more of your baby, wouldn't you say, the books you've written?
No question. It's funny. I started out as an actor many years ago, and I studied at the Neighborhood Playhouse with Sandy Meisner. And it's interesting because, when I write something, I'm almost like imagining I'm the person in it and feeling what they're feeling. And sometimes you write something and you cry, and you write something and you laugh. I know it sounds like I'm crazy, but it's a nice experience.
Gotcha.
Definitely.
Yeah. So just kind of like looking at the experience you've had and all the great opportunities that you've had with multiple different people. What would be like the one thing thus far that you would want to highlight that people should know about you that you've done for experience that has just been something that's completely just blown you away, that has been the most awesome moment or memorable experience you've had?
Well, there are two things that come to mind. First one, which happened when I won the Writers Guild Award and nominated for Emmys for Seinfeld. That's a lot of fun to go to those parties and do all that stuff. The secondly is that, and this is my philosophy as a writer as it is anyway. If you feel like you have something in you and you got to get it down, you do it. You don't worry about the odds because you feel like you have to do it. And when I sat down and I wrote my first book because I wanted to write it, and then all of a sudden I got a book agent within a few months, and then he sold it, and I had 4 publishing companies bidding on it. That was so much, meant so much to me. I was so happy about it that it's hard to turn that, I have to mention that because that was probably my number one.
Gotcha. Cool. Awesome.
What's exciting with all that success and to take off so quickly, from the transition and start writing your own novels? Do you have any future projects in the works now?
I consider myself, not at the moment, no. I mean, a huge production company had optioned my books to do as a TV series. And then after I talked to them, I didn't like what they wanted to do. So I guess it may have been stupid, but I said, no thanks, fellas.
Well,
because
I
really care about these, and I want to do them justice.
Exactly. Like you said, it's your creative work and your vision, and you want to make sure that, it sits out there, with that drive and that passion.
Yeah, so I'll eventually have it done someplace, in visual media. It's just a question of when, at this point. I'm sure they thought I was crazy. What? You're turning us down? Nobody turns us down.
So,
it's
Lawrence, I'm kind of name dropping in a way, but what was your favorite Seinfeld episode you wrote? Because every one of the Seinfeld episodes, in some way, people have memories of them. And I interviewed the Soup Nazi, and he was awesome.
All right,
so go ahead. Yeah.
Mine was called The Mango. And that was the one where Elaine tells Jerry that all the time they were dating, she never had an orgasm.
Oh yeah.
And at the same time, Kramer gets banned from the fruit store.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah. And
then they try to sneak in fruit for Kramer, and Jerry gets banned, and then George goes get. It's because and with the A story with Elaine and Jerry, he keeps on telling her he wants another shot because he knows he can do it.
That was your favorite. And how many, so when you wrote for them, did you write for them the entire time, the whole season?
No, I was just there in one season, and I did that, and then I went off on a development deal.
Gotcha. All right. So best place we can find information on you, purchase your books, and learn more about you. Where can we go?
Okay, well, they're Random House books. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it on Barnes and Noble. There are any number of places where the Brooklyn on Fire and Second Street Station can be bought. They're all over the place. So, just to name a few, Barnes and Noble, Amazon, Random House, their site.
Gotcha. And what are you doing for your
And
panel?
also there's a LawrenceHLevy.com that will direct you to where to buy the books also.
And Lawrence, also, what are you going to be participating in at the festival? What panels are you on?
Well, I'm on a panel tomorrow at 11 o'clock talking about my books with 2 other authors in Building 8, Room 8201, if that is of any help. So, and I'm looking forward to doing it. I guess you can't stop me from talking. You see, I love talking about them.
Well, that's great, and continue with your success, and I hope to chat with you another time. So thanks again for calling.
Thank you. Nice talking with all of you.
Take care. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, bye-bye. You're listening to Author's Corner, powered by Life Improvement Radio, live from the Mind Book Fair, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for listening to Life Improvement Radio. The views expressed by show hosts or their guests are their own and shall not be construed in any way as advice from Life Improvement Radio. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our website. Personal perspectives expressed by the producers, writers, or editors will always be presented as such. Any rebroadcast or retransmission without the expressed written consent of Life Improvement Radio is strictly prohibited. Thanks for listening.